Welcome back. Today we discuss if the economic recovery is beating all expectations and how our local market is reacting to all of the changes around us. I'm Keith with the Walker team of Intero Real Estate, back this week to share the data and the facts as they pertain to real estate at a national and a local level. Let's start with our local market, as we've recently witnessed a dramatic change between the interest of single-family homes versus condos and townhomes in the last couple of months. So let's start there. Our single-family home inventory has stayed relatively consistent with some fluctuations over the past few weeks, while pending sales continue to climb. The absorption rate has gone from negative 9.6 to negative 17.1%, meaning that available needed inventory has shrunk an additional 8% over the last few weeks, fueling more and more multiple offer scenarios and appreciation. Condos and townhomes are telling a different story these days, as we've discussed previously. The good news is that pending sales have increased 13%, but the active listings have kept pace with a 13% increase as well. The absorption rate has remained at 68%, meaning that 3 out of every 10 available properties in this classification are not selling. The good news is that it seems to have currently stabilized in this market and even slightly improved after reaching a low of 60% a few weeks ago. The next few weeks with the election looming should be quite interesting. Stay tuned to my updates to see how it plays out. Let's switch gears and talk about the overall economic update. Earlier this year, many economists and market analysts were predicting an apocalyptic financial downturn that would potentially rattle the U.S. economy for years to come. They immediately started to compare it to the Great Depression of a century ago. 6 months later, the economy is still trying to stabilize, but it's evident that the country will not face the total devastation projected by some. As we continue to battle the pandemic, forecasts are now being revised upwards. The Wall Street Journal just reported the U.S. economy and labor market are recovering from the coronavirus-related downturn more quickly than previously expected. What shape will the recovery take? Economists have historically cast economic recoveries in the form of one of 4 letters: V, U, W, or L. I encourage you to GTS, Google that stuff, if you'd like to know more details on the differences. Many experts predicted that this would be a dreaded L-shaped recovery, like the 2008 recession that followed the housing market collapse. Fortunately, that does not seem to be the case. The same Wall Street Journal survey we mentioned asked the economists which letter this recovery will resemble the most. Here are the results. If you've been following my updates, you'll know that I've been adamantly discussing the Nike swoosh or V-shaped recovery as I closely followed the top economists. What about the employment numbers? It's difficult to speak positively about a jobs report that shows millions of Americans are still out of work. However, when we compare it to so many forecasts from earlier this year, the numbers are much better than most experts expected. There was a talk of a depression-like unemployment rate over 20%. While the first report after the 2020 shutdown did show a 14.7% unemployment rate, to the surprise of many analysts, the rate has decreased each of the last 3 months and is now in the single digits, 8.4%. Economist Jason Furman, professor at Harvard University and the chair of the Council of Economic Advisors during the previous administration, recently put it into context. An unemployment rate of 8.4% is much lower than most anyone would have thought a few months ago. The economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal also forecasted unemployment rates going forward. 2021 end up at 6.3%, 2022 5.2%, 2023 4.9%. This table shows how the current employment situation compares to other major disruptions in our economy over time. The bottom line, the economic recovery still has a long way to go. So far, we're doing a much better job than most thought would be possible. Remember, months ago, you heard it here first. If you'd like advice on how this affects your personal housing goals, reach out to me personally. Remember, I'm Keith Walker, and I'm here to educate and navigate, not speculate and fabricate. Have a great day.